Okay, everyone want to take the message off? Now, at the very beginning, and I'm not sure, I think we will do this when we come in to do the improvisation, because it doesn't make sense to make a special entrance for reconciliation when we're already there and in full costume. We'll be at the back of St. Paul's, and we will walk forward with tremendous dignity and the knowledge that we represent not only the people who were so deeply impacted by 9/11, but the hope of the future, that incidents like this can be used without a string of retaliation and more violence. Okay, so with that knowledge, you'll be walking approximately your own height behind the person in front of you. It's a slow walk, Buto style, from the back of St. Paul's to the front of St. Paul's. And then we'll do the improvisation, and then we'll do reconciliation. In between there's the holy, holy, holy. Some of you have done it before, some of you have not. It involves bowing to the right, left, and center very slowly as you chant holy, holy, holy. Lean back against the divine in whatever form is most important to you, and forward with the knowledge that you are giving it to the audience. So I don't know how many people are in a position where they can speak very loudly right now. Here's somebody else coming. But if you can, let's try that. We're going to be rehearsing it in person in September, but this is so important in terms of power. So if you will, obviously I'm not leading you with this voice, but we wait for everyone to finish each bow. If you can, stand up. If you can't, you can do it seated. You chant on your own tone. We're not trying to all sing on the same note, just however it comes out from you. That will be dissonant. It won't be a beautiful chord, but it's really powerful if it's truly. The choir will be doing it with us, so that will give us even more punch. So it's right, left, center. Ready?
Holy, holy, oh,
Okay, and then from that point, the drum will start. Sally, sorry, I'm trying to keep my puppy quiet. This doesn't seem to be working very well. When one of the movement choir died a few years ago, the Trinity asked us at the funeral to do the holy, 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 and we did. And we were astonished that people came running up to say how wonderful it was. Because for us, it was just the holy, holy, holy. We didn't do anything after that. It's a very potent connection to the divine if you do it genuinely. So, yeah. All right. So following that, the drum will take you into ordinary life on the day of 9/11. When we first did this, everybody except one person was involved in 9/11 directly. The first group was all people who had experienced it directly. We had one person who was born during 9/11. So she was born into the post 9/11 world. Now it's quite different. But I think looking at you guys that almost everyone was deeply impacted by 9/11. So if you can remember what it was like just before it, that's what the beginning is about. It came early-ish in the morning, but not so early that people were not dressed and going to work or going to see other people or taking a walk or whatever. So we want to take that concept of ordinary life and dance it. That doesn't mean you mime eating and brushing your hair and so on, but it's in you as you move, and the audience will get it. So ordinary life before the attacks of 9/11. And the second purpose of this period is to spread out. The one criticism we get often is that we don't fill the stage in this piece. So we go from being together during this time to spreading out, and you can meet each other as you spread out. You can do contact improv and touch each other, because you would have met people in the morning. You would have had contact. So you have 3 minutes to get from dancing very slowly in your place to spreading out and filling the whole stage. Let's try that. Let me get you started on this. So you wake up. You have 3 minutes to go somewhere else. Good. All right. That's the holy, holy, holy. I just wanted the drum beat there for you. Okay, it's good. Start with rising from your sleep. So you may even have your eyes closed. You may have your face turned away. Your whole body begins. And then, without copying the gestures of getting ready for the day, let your body move, knowing that that's what's going on, that you're getting dressed, that you're maybe brushing your teeth, that you're eating breakfast, that you're doing whatever. Okay? Very slowly. Tension in your body from Bhutto. Yes, good. And allow yourself to move, and also to move in space so that you're not standing in one place. I know it's hard with this as a rehearsal space, but even if you go off camera, take yourself elsewhere so that we can spread out and fill the entire stage. Keep it slow. Good. Good. You meet others, you greet them, you move on, but you stay in Bhutto. That dreamlike state has to come into it. Terrific. You're spreading out over the whole stage now. Buto. Keep it continuous motion. Nice, Deb, Gerald, Charles, Pat. Turn your body in different directions. Yes. Good, Gina. Good, Deb. Seems like a long time here, but it's not when you're trying to spread over the entire stage. Good. All right, did you hear it start going faster there? Could you hear the beat change? Hang on, let me play it again for you. Oop. Listen. Hear the beat increase? Okay, that's where the dance changes. That's where tension starts to really come in. And you can look around you. You don't know what's going on, but you know something is wrong. And then you'll hear the first attack, the first playing sound. So let's go back to that point. You're still dancing your morning routine, and then the beat increases, and you need more tension, more stress in your body, and a wariness. You can feel that something's wrong. Good. It's still everyday life. There's the faster beat, more tension in your body, looking around outside you. Good, Charles. Yes. You don't know what's going on, but you know it's not something you want to have happen. Keep it in Buto. Good. Nice, Barbara. Perfect, Renata. Yes, everybody. Good. Okay, that's the first attack. And you did really, really, really well. That buildup of tension, that change from looking inwardly to your normal day to outwardly to some kind of threat that you can't really recognize, that's a huge transition in this. And then you have the first plane going over. And what happens after that is you're spread all out and you come back in together. In other words, danger, you're going to huddle. So you move from that plane coming over to regrouping on the stage, getting yourselves close. And then the second plane will go over and you can react to that together. So I want you to know the cues, even though we can't do it in space right this minute. All right, from the first plane on, here we go. You're moving back together as close as you can. And the second one, good. Okay, that's the one place in reconciliation where we really do acknowledge the horror, the loss of life, the loss of parents to children, the loss of innocence in the United States. Okay, so when it gets to that, that's you guys screaming, by the way. Some of you can even fall down. We'll work on this when we're in the space itself. But there should be a big contraction in the body here. The worst has happened and you know what it is. If you're not going to fall, you can contract inside your body and bend over. Don't fall if you're going to have trouble getting up. Okay? So let me take you one more time from the first attack to the second. Sorry. Now you move to be together. You're frightened, you're looking around, and you're gathering yourselves together. So that there will be body contact. Second plane. That's it. And now comes the keening for the dead. Okay, after the keening, there's another silent period because what happened was in the wake of all this, New York went silent. It went completely silent. You could get on a bus and not hear a single voice. First time in my life, I hope the last. And then we start to go into the acts of heroism that occurred after the attack. And we move on to the lift, which represents the triumph of the human spirit. That's part 2. Part 1 is all that you have done now up to the point where the keening takes place. So that's the history of the attack in the first part. You did really well. One thing I want to point out that some of you did and not others is when you have the second attack, especially, you can change your expression. Don't forget, you're not in ballet where you have to smile even though somebody's killing somebody. You can do the classic Butoh expressions. You can bend your body and change your face at the same time. Yes, it's very shocking in that stained glass makeup to suddenly see the mouth open and see an expression of agony on the face. Every single, I should have told you this, if you haven't worn this makeup before, every single move you make on your face will be amplified and everybody will see it. So if you twitch, they're going to see it. They're going to see it all the way through the whole place. That's the way the makeup is designed, to take your facial expressions and exaggerate them. So be careful what you do when you're made up with this. Okay? All right. I'd like to take you from the beginning through what you just did. This is all of part one. You're doing really, really well. This is the first time we've tried to do something that's going to be performed spatially with some of the rehearsals digitally. And I think with you guys, it's going to work. I want you to really know it in your body by the time we get around to actually being in the space, and to be able to follow the cues without thinking. Then we can concentrate on the spatial qualities and the interactions. But I need you to be able to I need your blood to recognize when the first plane is coming, when the second plane comes, when it's time to key. Okay, so that's why we're doing it this way. Some of you are scattered all over the country and countries. So that's why we're doing, and if we can do this, it will make a lot of things easier in the future too, if we don't have to do every rehearsal live. So let me find, yeah, right after the Holy Holy. Okay, so when the Holy, Holy, Holy is done, what you're doing is waking up. You're waking up before any of this happens. And you are going through, you're establishing what life was before the attack. Here we go. Please stay in Butoh. Please keep the movement intense, but very slow. Use your whole body. Beautiful. And as you begin to wake up, you move across the stage in all directions to spread out. So we have a very strong change when we gather back together. You're allowed to have facial expressions. So it may be you will meet someone as you walk across the stage, and you can greet them with your face. Keep it in Butoh, though. Slow and very intense. Good. Again, you're spreading across the stage as well as representing life before the attack. comes from your center. Good. Much better. Yes, and you can turn away from the camera and turn from side to side. Nice. Now it's speeding up. Tension in your body, even slower movement, looking around. You have this feeling that something has gone terribly wrong, but you don't know what. Good. Yes, Charles. Yes, Gerald. Yes, everybody. You can even pick a spot and keep your eyes fixed on it while your body moves. So you continue to move, but your concentration is outside yourself. Good. And there's fear. There it is. Yes. Exactly. Yes, Wendy. Yes, yes, Megan. Yes, everybody. You're moving back together, drawing close to each other, letting the other person's body touch yours. Yes. Very well done, guys. Wow. Much, much, much stronger. Yeah. Are you comfortable with the cues? Okay, you have the speeded up drum, then the first plane going over, then the second plane going over, and then the keening. All
I
right.
find it a little difficult to hear the drum. We can hear the other, but the drum is a little soft.
I know it's the way it's recorded, but when we're in the space, believe me, you will be able to hear it really well. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I can't turn it up any higher than I've got it, or I would. Yeah. Questions and problems? Okay. I really want to be sure that Bhutto at its most tense and powerful comes through in this, and it's starting to happen. I want to be sure that there's nothing light about this. Even when you get up in the morning, you know something's going to happen. You do. The person you're representing doesn't. But if the movement comes from your core, from your gut, and your whole body is involved, then it's going to be much stronger. Any questions or problems? All right. Barbara Farringer's cubicle there reminds me that this is the night of the supermoon, the full moon where it's closest to the earth. So you guys should be feeling that. The second part, which follows this one that you've done after the keening, you'll be broken up into groups who represent some of the acts of heroism that occurred in the wake of 9/11. There was, for example, a man who had a colleague in a wheelchair on one of the top floors of the World Trade Center, and he decided to stay with her and die so that she didn't have to do it alone. There was the guy with the bandana who made something like 57 trips bringing people out until he died. You may know stories of your own, and if you do, please email me and we'll work them into the action here. We'll have 3 or 4 groups, one of which will support someone and take them across the stage and care for them. Another of which will search. There was a tremendous amount of searching in those first days through the rubble. And I can remember that they put out a call on television and radio because the dogs that were searching were burning their feet. They asked everybody to send socks. And then about 10 minutes later, they said, stop, because they got so many socks, they didn't have nearly enough dogs to put them on. Everyone was so desperate to do something to help. And that needs to go into that period where the rescue work and the seeking continues. And people did quiet, unimaginably wonderful things for each other. And I want that to come across very strongly. And then, once that's finished, we will gather everyone together and we will lift one of our number up to represent the human spirit's rise above what had happened. And I'm open to whoever wants to go up. I think Neitz and Megan are probably our best possibilities because you're so small. But it's not difficult to lift someone the couple of feet we lift. We're not going to lift you up over the entire group. We will put our hands on your ribs and you will inhale as we go up and then exhale as we come down. And the rest of us will go from down to up with them. And then we come back to silence, to exhaustion. After all these things were done in the wake of the attacks, the whole city was depleted. There was no energy left. So at that point, I would like you to echo that. I would like you to go from this wonderful moment where the one person is lifted to the moment where we don't have any more. So everyone goes limp in whatever way they want. And then as the music comes back, genuinely, each one of you find the place where you can reach out again. And as you do, you can look at and touch each other and then turn to the audience and go out among the audience and exchange contact. That can mean looking into each other's eyes. It can mean touching them on the head or shoulder. It can mean all hugs. They will lead you. Don't force anything on anybody. But this particular moment in the dance, which is pretty much the end of the dance and the culmination of everything, is so moving that we've never done it without people bursting into tears, including me. If they have traveled on this journey with us, and then they go from numb to reaching out again, what we're doing is showing them the route to reconciliation and demonstrating it, not telling them, but having them actually experience it with us. And then there is a very clear cue for coming back out of the audience to the front of the stage and taking your bows. And you'll find that that's not the end of it, because people will run up to talk to you about it or to be touched if they weren't. But that's the shape of the rest of the piece. Everybody comfortable and clear? If you have any questions, please raise them now. Yeah, Terry?
Yeah, I was wondering, I've never done this piece, and you spoke about the costumes and the makeup. Can you talk a little bit about the symbolism of why we're wearing all this? Because
Sure.
I mean, I can see wearing black, but I'm not sure about the rest of it.
Okay. It's not directly to this piece. This is our actual signature appearance. And for the first year, we almost did nothing without the makeup and costuming. The stained glass faces and costumes are from Trinity's windows. So what happens when you do that? We were very new when we started this, is you lose your individuality and you become something different. It's vestments, if you like. There is a side effect we found, however, and I'm not sure how to counter it. When we did this and we had a group in which several people had not done it before, they couldn't find each other. You're not recognizable once you get into this. So the people who were supposed to be taking care of each other during the second part, when we show the acts of heroism, had to ad-lib it because they could not find the people they had rehearsed with before, even though they knew them and they were 2 feet away from them. As one person said, your mother wouldn't know you in this. It's true. So we're going to make sure that you know who each other are on the day so that you can find each other at the point where you need to. But what it is, Terry, is a transformation for us. When you have this makeup and costume on, you're different. You move differently and you feel different. I can't explain it until you've actually experienced it. But when you see each other and you move together, you become archetypes instead of individuals. And that's what this is about. We don't do it all the time anymore. I mean, we do it for reconciliation and for the Book of Job, but because it takes at least 2 hours to make up the group, even if you got a bunch of artists. So it's not practical for everything we do, but it's the point we come back to regularly. And I'm hoping that in the future, maybe next year even, we get another set of costumes that is archetypal also, with another kind of living masks to go with it. Because it really is such a wonderful experience for the dancers as much as it is for the audience. The only thing is that we are using non-toxic everything. And so if you decide that you have to scratch your cheek, you may have to go back for repairs. I won't use the kind of makeup that doesn't smear because it's not good for you. I'm not going to kill a bunch of dancers to get an effect. But that's what it is.
Can you send a picture to me? I would love to see what the whole look, I mean, like the hair.
Sure.
I'd love that. Make it better.
You won't see your hair, but yes, somebody in the audience took the only really great group picture we've ever had. And we've been using it ever since. So I will send you that because it's a really good representation of what it looks like. But also, if you check online for Book of Job in particular, you'll see it in action. Because we wore that same set of stuff for that performance. So if you go on Trinity's site and look for Book of Job, not the most recent one, which was virtual, but the live one, you'll see it in moving. There is a certain amount of awkwardness in the costuming because you're wearing a tabard. and then it ties around you. But it's pretty easy to get comfort in it. You just can't move quickly in it, but we're not moving quickly anyway. If you did, it would flip up. Okay. Anything else? Good question. Okay, could I just have the 6 people who are going to Athens for 5 or 10 minutes, please? And thank you guys so much. It's so wonderful to see you. I can't wait. We will all be together in St. Paul's, and that will be really, really wonderful. Yeah. Okay, so could I just have this famous 6?
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. You can't imagine how happy I am to see you.
Bye-bye.
So Neets, you need to turn off now, if you will.
Okay,
Okay, and I'll see you at the next rehearsal.
bye.
Nancy, bye,
Yes.
sweetie.
Bye.
I'll talk to you.
Oh, so who the fuck is going to Athens?
6 dancers and Carla are going to Athens. One of the 6 is not here, but since she helped to design this, I think she'll be all right. Okay, Neets, you might just turn your phone off. That will do it. Okay, my dears. For Athens, we have 15 minutes. This is a 28-minute piece, but I'm going to cheat and make the 15 minutes not include the procession because they're very excited about this piece. The CID has not done anything like this before. They told me never seen a piece like this, can't wait to see it. So they're excited enough so that we can have a little extra time. What you'll do is you will come from the back, which isn't very far from the actual stage, and you will process down the same as we'll do in St. Paul's with the drum, and you'll do the holy, 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 and then go into the dance. And I preserved most of the first part, all of the last part, but the second part I cut pretty heavily. So the second part will just have a couple of examples of heroism and the lift. I felt that was about the only place we could really cut. I did shorten the amount of time for everyday life. I thought we could express that without doing the whole thing. But all the essentials are there, and I'll send you a copy of the 15-minute soundtrack, and we'll rehearse it beforehand. But that's how it will work. So you'll be easily able to get into the audience on the stage there. If you looked at the photos I sent you, you're practically in the audience, just like in St. Paul's when you're dancing. So the thing to do will be, you'll have a very brief run through earlier on the day. Performances are at night. So I have to remind Carla, and you guys could remind her too, that whoever does the lighting there will need to follow us into the audience at the end. But there are, I think, 5 different routes into the audience. So you guys can split up and you'll be able to cover quite a bit of it. When we did this in Chautauqua, it was like 3,000 people, and we couldn't get near at least half of them before we had to come back. So the rest of the day when we were walking around, people would come up to us and say, "You never came over to me." Well, we couldn't. But this time, I think you will be able to come to many of them. And that should be, I mean, it looks like it's exactly made for this. It's a very shallow slant. so you don't have any climbing to do like we did. And it spreads nicely in all directions. They only expect a couple hundred people because the dancers are their own audience, plus some tickets that are sold there. So you won't have to worry about how to get to 1,000 people. I think it's going to work out very, very well. They have a green room, and that's also wonderful because when we did Parliament, we had to make up and costume in our hotel and then troop through the streets of Toronto to get to the performance. This time we should be able to do it in a green room setting. And I'm going to send some individual mirrors. Now here's the clinker on this. You won't have any artists with you. I'm going to train you all in one session and along with Carla on how to draw and paint these basic things. But you can figure that since you are not well practiced in it, you need to allow at least a half hour to make yourself up, at least. And I'm going to try to be sure there are plenty of brushes, plenty of makeup and so on for you to share. And it should work out well, but I just want you to be aware of that. I'll send you a diagram of if this form of makeup is based on a group that no longer exists, who did, it was a theatrical group who did an outdoor piece on the Book of Job like 50 years ago. And they had mosaic makeup and a mosaic costume. I'm using their basic format as ours because the woman who devised the makeup was the one who discovered how to put it on so that it would magnify expression. So you don't have to copy it exactly, but I'd like it used as a basic pattern. Any questions about all that? That's the whole thing, really.
Are we doing one performance or several?
One, yeah.
Just one. And do you know what day the performance is on?
We don't know yet. We know the performances are the 18th, 19th. Wait a minute. Let me see if I can remember. I think the 18th or 19th, and we come back on the 20th. I think that's right. Or it's 18, 19, 20, and we come back 21st. Gerald?
Performances are 18, 19, 20, and we travel on the 17th and the 21st.
Right, thank you. So they won't tell us which day we're on until very close to it because there are various people coming in and they have to make sure they've got it paced the way they want to. So as soon as Carla knows, we'll all know. But on the same day as the performance, there's a probably morning session, only a half hour on the stage to get the feel of it and to work out any mechanical problems. I don't think there are going to be any mechanical problems on this stage, but I would suggest that since we don't know what the surface is off the stage, that everybody wears shoes on this one. Anything that's soft and comfortable and doesn't look like a Nike, that would be a little distracting. But anything that makes your feet feel natural so that you can move freely will be fine. We did have shoes for the whole movement choir at one time. Unfortunately, half the movement choir would not wear them, and the other half eventually lost them. So I gave that one up. Yeah, I know, we may institute that again. They were nice. They were sort of like Chinese slippers, very easy to put on, soft. Didn't go over well, and you can't tell the group they have to because of the nature of the group. Carla has arranged for apartments for you guys, two to an apartment. And it's within comfortable walking distance of the theater. And then she'll be up the road in a different place, but very accessible. And believe me, it's going to run smoothly if Carla's there. Otherwise, Greece will never recover.
On the days that we're not performing, we can be in the audience, right? Or part of.
Yeah,
the-
in fact, they ask you to please be in the audience in the evening for the other people, but that leaves your days free for sightseeing and so on. If it runs true to form, the weather should be great. It should be in the low 80s. And Gerald has been there before. I'm sure some of the others of you have been to Athens, and you'll enjoy it. You really will. I mean, you're beautifully set for cafes, shopping, going to the temples, whatever. It's a very big, exciting city, obviously. All the performances are at night, and that's really great because it will be cool and lit, which I did not realize until we had a phone conversation with them earlier this week. Any other questions? Same costuming, black tops, black bottoms. And if they need it, we will have your costumes cleaned before we go in that few days in between. Probably won't be necessary, but for some people who fall on the floor, maybe. Anything that you can think of now that you want to bring up?
So Marilyn, can, for the top, can it be like a t-shirt or?
It can. You can have either short or long sleeves. Your choice. Normally I like long because it looks nice, but I want you to be comfortable and you're going to be outside.
Mm-hmm.
So, do
And-
it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And there's something like, something that you pull over
Yeah.
that covers,
This is what it is. You've got on the black costume, your pants and shirt, and
mhm.
then you have a hood that goes over, and then you have a tabard that's stained glass, meaning it has a panel in the front and panel in the back, and there are ties to bring it around so that it fastens comfortably around you. And then there's a crown on top of the hood that holds it firmly on your head and also gives you an echo of the same colors that are in the tabard. I will send you pictures of
Okay.
what the costuming looks like. And when you do your makeup, you use the same colors as are in your costume. So you have a continuous stained glass person there. But there's nothing on your arms or hands. Any other questions? Okay, you guys break plates for me, will you? When you're there, I am so envious. It's really, really going to be fun. And I'm so glad you can do it. Yeah. So I will see you another time, and we will also go through this with your shortened form so that you know all the cues for that. It's very similar, it's just contracted. Okay, thank you so much, folks, and thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
If you haven't already checked that your insurance will cover you when you travel, please do it as quickly as you can, because if it doesn't, we're going to have to get some traveler's insurance for you. The festival requires it. Okay?
Very good.
I spoke to, I don't know if this is the right time to speak. I did talk to somebody from Medicare, and if there's an emergency, if I go to an emergency room, that's what they said, that's what's covered.
No, we'll have to get you different insurance because that could be very tricky in Athens. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's very strange. It's like there's a copay of $95. How they came up with that, I have
Everything's
no.
different.
Yeah.
Gerald, did you have something?
I got to check. I've got insurance, but I got to check if it's going to work.
Yeah, please give them a call and let me know so we have enough time to get you. And Charles, I understand that you have coverage when you travel, but you need to send me the name of the insurance company so I can let the festival know.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And Deb, you too.
I'll send you the name. Yep, because Steve
Okay.
called today Yeah,
And for those of you who don't have it, Megan, then we will get you traveler's insurance for this time.
And it sounds like it's fairly simple. It's just because it's a 4-day policy or something. So it's fairly.
Yeah,
simple.
yeah. Oh, yeah, they have. I used to be a travel editor, so I had to do this in my sleep every time I tried. All right, my dears, have a wonderful week. And I'll see you when I see you. And I'm so proud of you. I can't tell
thank
you.
you so much. This is gonna be
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.